Hello everybody and welcome to JGod Gaming. Today's video I'm going to be focusing on ranking the divisions from worst to best. And the reason I want to go back and do that is because it's been a few months since I've actually broken down what is the worst, which is the best. Obviously, if you've been watching me for a while, you'll know kind of what my preferences are. So one of the biggest changes they made was when they came out with DLC 3, they decided to add a new division, which was the Cavalry Division. A lot of skepticism around this one. It's still kind of broken for some reasons that I'll touch on in the video. But for the most part, I decided to give you a new breakdown because there are a total of 7 divisions, and I want to make sure you know which ones are the best and which ones you should avoid. If at any point you do enjoy the video, remember to hit that like button. I do have a goal of 300 likes, so that'd be nice if we could hit that number. Obviously, not all of you are going to agree with my list, so I'd love to know your thoughts on the video down in the comment section below, and that's whether you agree or disagree with the video. And if you are new to the channel, I typically cover Call of Duty content related to news, in-game updates, best class setups, tip and trick videos like this one today, as well as subscriber breakdowns. If any of that's interesting to you, make sure you subscribe with notifications on by ringing that bell. So let's go ahead and get into the list. Number 7. Mountain takes a spot as the worst division in the game in my opinion, and that's the number 7 spot because it actually does not have a lot of usefulness in regular public matches. The ability to stay off the radar is nice, but it's completely negated unless you're using a suppressor. And for the most part, if you wanted to stay off the minimap, you could just run counter recon and then you're completely fine. The other thing is if you've played plenty of public matches like I have, you could realize that nobody really pays attention to the minimap for any reason. The other factor that contributed to this one dropping so low on the list is a lot of the other divisions got buffs along the way, and this one was left relatively untouched. So that's why it drops all the way to number 7. Number 6 on the list might actually come to a surprise to many of you, but it's actually the Airborne Division. And the reason the Airborne Division has fallen so far low on the list is because it goes against the meta. If we took the Airborne Division and put it in any of the previous past 5 or so Call of Duties, it'd probably reign supreme. But the problem with Call of Duty World War II is the slow aim down sight, slow sprint out speed has made it so that if you're running and gunning, you are at a significant disadvantage unless you have some crazy lightning quick reflexes. So it's because of those reasons that the Airborne Division has fallen all the way down to number 6 on the list. Number 5 on the list is the Cavalry Division. If you're not a fan of the Cavalry Division, neither am I. It is one of the worst divisions in the game as far as being annoying to play against, but for the most part, it's actually very good to use, especially if you're an objective-based player. Allows you to jump on those objectives, play solo, cap them really quickly, put your shield up, protect yourself from damage. So there's a lot of benefits to actually running the Cavalry Division. One of the other nice benefits is actually being able to call those score streaks in a lot quicker, especially if you run it with Ordnance. The main reason it actually falls so far low on the list, even though I'm talking so good about it, is that when you actually switch to your secondary, which is a primary weapon for the most part, you're not going to have any attachments to run with, which will put many players at a severe disadvantage. Taking that number 4 spot is the Resistance Division. The reason this division ranks so highly on the list is just because all the other advantages you get with that minimap indicator tells you exactly where they're at if they're within proximity. Even though you do give a little bit away your position, you don't give much away. The other two things actually combine to give you a lot of information, and that's the kills and assists grant that little ping. And then also when you spawn in, you get a little bit of a ping. So you can kind of get an idea of where people are around you. But the other part is that number 4, where you get that lookout automatically built in. So your actual minimap coverage is twice the diameter, and I've actually broke that down. It gives you twice the diameter, which is 4 times the area, which is significant, especially on some of the smaller maps. You can kind of basically cover the entire map. I don't know if you ever use this on shipment, but it looks kind of nuts to see the entire map inside your minimap. If you are enjoying the video so far, do remember to hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button with notifications on. Let's get into the top 3. Number 3 is Infantry. This one actually used to hold the number 1 spot in my opinion back then, way before all the balancing and weapon changes, because you got those extra attachments, you're able to strafe faster, you had the extra ammo, but all that changed up with the division update. So this one is definitely still top tier, but it has been brought down a couple notches. The main reason it still ranks so highly on the list is because you can get those 4 attachments, which takes some guns from just being good to being almost overpowered. The other part is that extra strafing speed, especially on rifles, makes you a lot harder target to hit. SMGs not so much because they already have faster strafing speed, and LMGs you can't really strafe too much. So for the majority of the time that you're going to use this division, you're going to probably want to use rifles. Let's go ahead and get into number 2. And the number 2 spot is taken by the Armored Division, and this one actually has come up a significant way. Way back when, I would have said this is absolutely the worst division, don't touch it. Even as the division balancing was coming closer, I was like, I'm not going to touch this at all. But right after the game changed with this division update, the meta completely changed. And this one still ranks pretty highly in my book. I used to have it at number 1, but as the meta in the game has changed, also my list has slightly changed. The reason why this one still ranks so highly is because you do get that nade protection, which is great, especially for new players, because a lot of times new players don't know where the nades typically go, so it's a lot harder for them to avoid them. But for more skilled players, that's not really the bonus here. The bonus that a lot of times people will pick this one for is because that fire shotgun protection is the only thing in the game that will protect you from fire shotgun shells. And then the other last part that is so crucial is that flinch reduction. After they did a game-wide flinch reduction, this still has additional flinch reduction, almost making your flinch 0. So that's what kind of makes this one just a little bit overpowered, because it takes a little bit of the randomness out of gunfight. And last but not least is the Expeditionary Division. This is by far one of the most overpowered divisions in the game. And there's several reasons why. One is for highly skilled players that go on long streaks to automatically grant you that forage. And that forage is so handy to just keep your loadout with your gun, with your attachments. If you use any of the other divisions without forage, you're going to run out of ammo right around that 13, 14, 15 kill mark. And that's going to leave you kind of short-handed, having to switch to guns that maybe you're not comfortable with. In addition to unlimited ammo, you get unlimited lethals and unlimited tacticals, which for some people, they don't really like them. But in my opinion, an S-mine will cover your back better than most of your teammates. On top of that, if you hit anyone with your lethal or your tactical, even if you don't kill them, they're going to be painted on the mini-map, because it gets that added perk where it's going to paint them on the mini-map, and not just for you, but for all of your teammates will see it as well. So all in all, that is what makes that division the #1 division in the game for me, and I think for majority of players that are getting the hang of it. I'm actually going to show you some of my personal stats with each division, but if you have enjoyed the video so far, go ahead and remember to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, or if you're new to the channel or you're interested in kind of the content that I actually put out, and then make sure you got those notifications on. So let's look at each of these divisions one by one and see how the individual stats rank against my list. So for the infantry division, you can see I have a 2.48 KD with 6.5 days played, 28,000 kills. So that's pretty good. My overall KD right now is a 266. So this is a little bit below that, but I really haven't touched that much since the update, other than messing around with a couple specialist classes. See, airborne, it is a 2.04. And that's 10,000 kills, 2 days, 5 hours. So I haven't put a ton of time in since the update, other than just kind of messing around, experimenting with the class, and realizing that it is just not as good as the other ones. Armored, you can see right when it got the adjustment, I went ham with it, especially since it came around with Blitzkrieg. 3.44 KD, 32,000 kills, 4 days, 20 hours. So pretty impressive there. And then the Mountain Division, you're going to see right here, has a 2.11 KD with 8,100 kills, 2 days, 3 hours. So I have invested quite a bit of time with that one, but obviously the benefits aren't outweighing any of these other divisions. And that's why it's so low on the list. Then when we go into the Expeditionary one, I barely started using this one a little bit more recently, just because I found out how powerful it is. I got a 2.81 KD, 14,000 kills, 2 days, 13 hours. Obviously not quite as many as my armored, but it is approaching, it's climbing. And then when we go into the Resistance division, I haven't really spent much time with that one, even though it is fairly good. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the style, but I know plenty of people, and I've seen plenty of gameplay actually show dominance with this one. 6 hours, 47 minutes. And then the Cavalry division, you're going to see I don't even touch this one at all. And I probably won't, just because I'm not a fan of its hitbox, among other things. And then you can see I only played with it 28 minutes just to level it up. And that's just 28 minutes of match time. That's because we had that double division XP. I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section below, whether you agreed or disagreed with the video at all. And then also go ahead and post your KD of your highest division. Obviously right there, we saw that mine was the Armored division with the 3+ KD. And if at any point you did enjoy the video, remember to hit that like button. I do have a goal, like I said, of 300. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe with those notifications on by ringing that bell. We'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you for watching. And as always, have a great day.